Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Tyranny with me, Bring It On.
On it.
Before we leave here, there is a star over here. That usually indicates an NPC to talk to. So let's go check that out real fast. Then we'll see about getting Barik out of that armor that he's stuck in. Splinter. Never seen the camp so dead. He wraps a weather-worn tatter of a sail around several wood-handled weapons and tosses the bundle into a crate at his feet. It's clear from the clutter. He's packing up shop. But the voice has gone quiet. How could the chorus continue its clatter? A good question, but one I haven't an answer for. What do you mean? Why are so many packing up? Why is the camp being deserted? Only a fool waits to be slaughtered. Without the voices, the chorus is nothing but chaos. Kill who you want, take what you desire. Live to screw another day if you can. He grunts as he hefts his crate from the ground. There's better places to pillage than here. Whole towns out there, and it's our promised fate to take them. Where will you go now? What will you do? I can't go home to Haven, being as I'm a wanted man. Maybe we'll try my luck in Fanged Bay, me and the gang. He scratches at a scab on the underside of his chin. We're liable to start a racket. He splits a thin-lipped grin. Well, good luck. Alright, well that wasn't super excited. I thought maybe I could buy from him or something before he finishes packing up. And that's right, that loot is a camping supply. Alright, we have to go grab Barik from the spire, and I guess we can see if our companions have anything to say about the killing of the voices. And then we'll go speak to Graven Ashe about getting Barik out of his armor and either killing or subjugating the Archon himself. Weird that Barik is standing so close to a Scarlet Chorus member.
My Lord Binder, you have something which requires my attention? What can I do for you?
Alright, he
If
doesn't
you would
have
have me travel.
nothing new to say about the voices. I should probably sell some of the stuff that I have. I haven't sold, I think, in a really long time. Yeah, it's been a little while. I'm gonna hold on to this iron armor for right now, in case Barik needs it once we get him out of that stuff. Assuming they were successful. Alright, so Verse definitely has something to say. It doesn't look like anyone else does, though.
My Lord Binder, what can I do for you?
Greetings, Archon.
Good day, Fatebinder. What do you need?
I'm gonna check everybody real fast anyway, and then we'll speak to Verse.
Alpha, Beast Woman is happy. Likes when Fatebinder wins. Likes that Fatebinder slaughtered Alpha of Scarlet Chorus without mercy. Was vicious, cunning, Archon with many voices. Was Alpha of biggest pack. Means Alpha of Kills in Shadow is bigger, better, strongest. Will always win. Fatebinder won't.
Yep. Alright, so just that one new bit of dialogue.
I trust all is well, my glorious Archon. I'm honored you wish to speak. What is it you need?
Alright, let's talk to Verse then. Fatebinder. I never thought that anyone could get the jump on the voices of Nerat. He outlasted most of his enemies and ate the others. He was this great, bottomless thing. I just assumed that he would be around forever. And now he's gone. It's hard to believe, really. I'm happy, but he also gave me this life, this name. I hated him, but he was incredible. An artist. I'm trying to say here is that I'm impressed. You've exceeded my low expectations. Do you think the voices is really dead? For being honest with each other, I have my doubts. The voices could scheme 1,000 steps ahead of anyone. I can only imagine that he had something planned for his death. Some contingency. It could be so complex that we might never recognize it if we saw it. It might not even happen in our lifetimes, if we're lucky. I have questions for you.
What do you need?
The thought has...
The big guy.
No, that's it. Alright, well. Not as much closure for her quest as I was hoping. Like, no mention of that giant spectral version of Red Geyser that came out of the voices. Though it kind of looked like it was attacking the voices. Did it come out of verse, maybe? Hey, Sentinel's finally done. Hound's hide mantle. What did we get from a blood-soaked mantle? So not the same thing. So I have nothing else to craft. That's a little sad in its own way. I mean, what good is the forge if it's not forging anything? Rod spear. Supposed to be allows you to make rod spear with access to an infirmary, so it's not a weapon. No, it's this one.
Yes.
I'm gonna go here and see, because I didn't fiddle around with the actual alchemy table. I want to see what all we can make, and if there's anything worth making. So honestly, if I can make more of those, what are they called? Potions of Heroics, or Potion of Heroes.
On it.
Definitely do that. Well, that's pretty good. Looks like they just... Oh no, it does take alchemy supplies. Okay. Kind of lame that they hid it behind alchemy supplies. It makes sense, but you think that also at this point that I'd have a lot more alchemy supplies than I currently do. Like, some of these are expensive. Like 6? Yeah, it's not really worth it. I mean, I have all the consumables I could ever want in my inventory still, so... Alright, well, let's go talk to Graven Ashe and see how this goes. Sunlight struggles to punch through the thick brown clouds, casting long shadows from the jutting spears of warped bronze and iron that mark the blade grave. In the hazy distance, you can just make out the squared form of Iron Hearth squatting high on the mountainside. You see the gray smear of smoke against the sky before you reach the fissure. From the lip of the broad gully, you see a handful of what at first glance appear to be bonfires, but from the blackened skeletal limbs protruding from them, you guess that they burn on a fuel of human fat. The flames mark only a few of the bodies, however. Dozens of corpses, perhaps more than a full 100, carpet the land below you. You investigate further. The sickly sweet stench of carrion assaults you as you pick your way into this crevasse. From above, the bodies seem a jumbled motley, with no discernible heraldry. You realize why as you make your way among the bodies. Many wear only ratty leathers, only crimson sashes or face paint marking them as conscripts of the Scarlet Chorus. For every 10 to 20 members of the Horde, you locate a brutalized, disfavored legionnaire, their armor rent in a dozen places, their wounds enough to kill each 10 times over. Merciful Kyros, Barik mutters, kneeling by one of the corpses. He touches one's forehead. Teluria, I almost cannot recognize you, sister. He looks to you. Archon. These soldiers died in service to the Overlord. They deserve better than to be left to the elements. Verse snorts. You planning on burying them all, big boy? Horde and Furies included? Don't be ridiculous, the Stone Shield answers. Everyone here died sworn to Kyros, right? She crosses her arms. If one deserves burial, don't they all? It seems that the disfavored and Scarlet Chorus met in battle here. You suspect that if there were survivors, they belonged to the Chorus. The disfavored would not have left their fellows to rot beneath the open sky. Bury both. So exhausted, increasingly gain a penalty to recovery over time during combat, but also focused. It takes hours, but you manage to dig a pair of mass graves, one for each of the two forces. Sweaty, filthy, and sick with the smell of your enterprise, you mark each mound with a set of standards. You leave the Valley of the Dead, you back aching, but your resolve bolstered. Uh-oh. They're all grouped up in there. Doesn't bode well. So Radix, Merrick, Iron Marshal Renyos, and Graven Ashe himself.
I see no fresh blood on your armor, but I sense that something has happened. Where once many congregated, there is now an absence. That can mean only one thing. The voices of Narat is no more. Can this be true?
Before he can go on, Ashe's shoulders tremble, and he clutches one arm to repress the shaking. He squeezes his eyes shut, only opening them again once his composure is restored. Are you well, Archon?
Well enough, damn you! Oh. Forgive me, Fatebinder.
His eyes widen as he realizes the magnitude of his outburst. He drags his hand across his mouth to clean away a line of spittle.
Suffice to say, this war has taken its toll on me, as have all the battles of centuries past. I have lost more friends and countrymen than any sane general could be expected to endure.
His grimace falls as he lacks the strength to maintain it.
I take each death personally, you understand. Down to the rank and file of my stone shields, the harm inflicted upon my northern sons and daughters. At times it seems visited upon me as well. But never mind an old man's ruminations. You have a report to make, and I am anxious to hear it.
He makes an effort to stand tall, but you know it's a facade that cloaks his waning strength. His eyes twitch as he recognizes your scrutiny. As well as you know anything, one fact is clear. Ashe is in pain. I destroyed the Archon of Secrets.
At last, the Scarlet Chorus are undone. We can properly conduct this war and subjugate the Tears as Kyros intended. That I can see this day, while the voices of Narat grows cold. He would never forget this indignity.
And how do you plan to do that?
Considering how much you've managed to subdue the disorder of the Tears, finalizing our conquest in Kyros' name should be little more than tidying up pockets of discontent. We could have the entire realm subdued under the laws and customs we hold dear within the next span.
Will someone claim the Archon's vacant title?
In time, yes. No doubt they will have to be as treacherous as he was, though I cannot imagine their power will resemble his. For all his multitudes, the voices of Narat was a singular being. Nothing like him has ever existed, or likely will again.
We still have to settle the matter of Kyros' decree. Only one Archon may rule the Tears.
Yes. I thought we would come to this. I had hoped to avoid the confrontation. Your service to my army has been exemplary, and I hate to lose a friend on the eve of victory. I knew you as Tunon's pupil, but now you are an Archon, and so much more. I would see you continue in your service to Kyros, but as my ally rather than my enemy. Bow in allegiance to me, and Kyros will be appeased. We can govern this lawless land together, and invite the savages into civilized custom.
Haven't come this far to bend the knee. Hey, can we not simply part ways? I don't know.
I'm afraid that is impossible. You have grown magnificent in power, and the Overlord demands that we consolidate the authority of the conquest under one rule. Dividing the army only led to mayhem, and the Tiers need a single governance if there's to be hope of guiding them from savagery.
Well, I haven't come this far to bend the knee.
I was afraid this would be your temperament, and it saddens me. Power should have humbled you, but it has made you vain. What do you propose, then? Will we fight to the death needlessly, or will you reconsider my offer?
There is another way. You can bow to me.
A proposal as insulting as it is laughable. You are an Archon in your infancy, unproven, untested, and unprepared for the trials of leadership.
Ashe squeezes his fists together. Submit. I have proven myself the true general, and your army is mine to command.
Yours? By what possible right? By what mad ambition do you challenge my...
The strength behind his words falters, and Ashe goes silent. His brow creases, and the severity of his expression diminishes as he looks to the soldiers around you, the countrymen he proudly marched into war. He studies them each in turn, nodding as some unspoken truth is confirmed. Look at your troops, Ashe. You are their father, but I am their commander.
I am not ignorant to the wisdom of your words. They pierce me like a lance through my heart, but there is truth. This conquest has opened old wounds. At times, I have not acted like the leader that my army deserved. I was an accomplished warlord in the earliest days of the Empire. There was no fortress I couldn't breach, no distance I couldn't march. But the years have reduced me. I cared too deeply for my legion to see them suffer. I lost nearly everyone for whom I cared, and suffered for those I sought to protect. I would not wish this for anyone. I submit to your authority as Archon and Master of the Disfavored. Where you lead, I go. Where you command, I follow.
A wise choice. The Disfavored will see their honor restored under my rule. Surprised Barik didn't say anything about that.
Fatebinder, you have proven yourself a truer general than I ever was. I relinquish my hold over these women and men, and place them in your keeping. I ask only that you be good to them. They are far from home, and deserve treatment and leadership befitting their noble blood.
He sighs and stands at ease.
I submit to you. As your Archon, I will obey your laws, carry out your orders, and protect whatever ways of life you see fit to impose on the Tiers and beyond.
Well, you didn't actually have to kneel, buddy. I consider us
You carry a heavy burden now.
pals.
It is no small task to lead a legion. Their lives and their deaths are yours to bear.
He winces and sniffs back a tear.
At times, the strain was too much to bear, even for the likes of me. Devotion claims a heavy toll, and over the years it wore me down until...
He trails off, focusing on some point in the distance. Are you alright, Ashe?
Fine, fine. Ignore an old man's wandering mind. You are yet young, with the world laid out before you. Your soldiers will look to you for guidance. You must be ready to take on any challenge on their behalf. Lead by example. Lead with the iron fist of the disfavored.
Yeah, I'll do everything in my power to deserve this honor. That doesn't seem very disfavored-y. You'd think they all just stand up and salute with their fist to their chest.
The time has come to bring glory and triumph to this conquest. Go now, and bring order to what remains of the Tiers. I will stay behind with the army, training and preparing to carry out your will.
I can hardly believe it. You are the great general now. I'll adore Ashe to my dying day, but I never expected to see him bend the knee. Barik nods at you with great respect. Oh, you took that better than I thought he would have. A gang of your very own to order around. That's darn impressive, even if you consider they're a bunch of ironclad northern crybabies. Give me a fortnight, I'll whip them into shape. Yeah, I'll make the disfavored proud.
Then I can pass on my authority with a lighter heart. Remember, Archon, it isn't enough to slay your foes by the thousands. You must always remember why you fight.
It's still the matter of Barik.
Archon, you honor us with your presence, and you have brought our Barik back to us.
The honor is mine, Archon.
What returns you to Iron Hearth?
Release Barik from your aegis.
I cannot simply draw a sigil and rescind my protection. His connection to the disfavored and to me would have to be terminated.
Then I am dismissing him from the disfavored.
Archon!
The Archon of War frowns, white eyebrows knitting in consternation, but then the expression gives way to a knowing grin and a deep chuckle.
Always clever ones the adjudicators get. You certainly hold such authority by right.
He turns to Barik.
Your service always honored your family, yourself, and the North.
General!
Soon you may wear that title yourself, son of Barikonin. See that you strive always to remain worthy of it.
Yes, sir!
A gasp issues from Barik's helm, and as its eye slits turn to you, a pained hiss follows.
The protection! I feel it lifting!
His tone mixes awe and melancholy.
We have done what you sought, Archon. I am truly free of Graven Ashe, if such can be freedom called. Let us return to your smith.
Alright, buddy, let's get you out of that armor. I'm sure you'll feel a lot better after that. Let's talk to Graven Ashe one more time. Theodore. Ashe stands taller and regards you with a respectful bow. Archon, an honor as always. He seems relieved to not be in charge anymore. I think it'll make him feel better as well since he won't be calling the shots that gets his disfavored killed. So I think that's an absolute win for Ashe. He'll still feel them getting killed, but he doesn't have to be the one to make those decisions. Wait, so who do I need to return to? Which Smith ally? Because there's two of them, wasn't there? I guess Lethian's Crossing. There's also the secluded Smith. I don't remember her name. I think she's in the Stone Sea. She might be in the Contested Lands. I'm pretty sure she's in the Stone Sea. Near Cacophony, if I'm not mistaken. Alright, Barik. Let's get you hooked up, man. I'm tired of you stinking up the spire. First thing I'm going to do is get you a bath. You've returned. Lahara turns to face you, her body covered head to toe in charred hues, chest rising and falling under the strain of labored breathing. There's always more demand for iron than there is time in the day. She removes a set of heavy canvas gloves and balls her fists, the joints of her fingers crackling in unison. How may I be of assistance? I've brought you a few azurlith crystals. Perhaps you can use them in your work. She takes them from me with care, marveling at the uncut edges. These crystals. Fatebinder. My Forgebound and I can surely create something of power from it. Thank you. Oh, she's gonna do it right now. Okay. It is done, Fatebinder. As promised, I have forged you an item of great power. Oh yeah, what did I get? Oh, Ashe's Favor. So plus 5% health while has wounds every 6 seconds. This medallion is typically gifted to the most proven and decorated officers of the disfavored legion. It represents the eternal gratitude and love of Graven Ashe, Archon of War. Oh cool, so he gave us that. Well, let me put it in the junk. I want to see what this sword looks like. I don't like it. I think it needs to be a little bulkier. I don't know, I don't like the design of that sword very much. Then the Azurlith Crystal Staff. So plus 10 control force and plus 10 control stone. The staff is topped with Azurlith and augmented by fragments of Karen's arcane power. Well, that one looks cool though. Looks a lot cooler than
This
Karen's
will be
staff.
fun.
Oh, let's put that away for now. Alright, so she's not the one...
Right.
Maybe I have to get to the spire. Because it did say your smith. I guess the Forgebound aren't necessarily beholden to me. We shall see. And I still have the issue of equipping Barik with appropriate armor. I'm trying to think if I have any unique armor that I sold in the spire. So I don't have to hunt down any unique armor. I'm sure I have stuff laying around. I'll figure it out. Also, Barik, did you lose spell slots? No, you're good. Who the heck am I supposed to talk to then? Alright, let's go over here then. Secluded Forge. The game's not making this easy. Just tell me who I'm supposed to go talk to. I have to wander around blindly trying to figure it out. Fatebinder. I didn't really expect to see you again. Well, with everything. I forget, is it Licensha? Licensha wipes her palms on her filthy robes. It's Archon now. Of course, Archon. Apologies. I hear strange things out of the Blade Grave. They say you and Graven Ashe have come to an accord. I suspect I know why you're here. She glances at Barik. Getting him out of that armor is no simple feat. It's part of him now, fused into his muscle and skin. Anything that gets him out of it, well, it'll be akin to peeling him like a potato. The outside will come off, sure, but it's going to take some of the good stuff with it. I've given it some thought, and have a possible solution. I don't think you're going to care for it, though. Or who knows? Maybe it'll be your kind of thing. Thoughts, Barik? Folding his arms, Barik remains silent. I wonder if the metal has already protruded into the brain. Licensha peers up at Barik, rising to the tips of her toes. Well, I'm listening. Without Ashe's protection, Barik stands very little chance of surviving the removal of his armor. That said, I know of a ritual to ease the process. It requires a component with as much sympathetically in common with the individual as the armor. In word, blood. Because of the iron in it. Precisely. Very good, Fatebinder. What was the purpose of this rite? They used it for taking malformed armor off the dead, without further mangling the corpse. Only the disfavored are worthy of iron armor, and we bury our own with their arms. Then the forgebound must be preparing for a time when one of those no longer remains true. Go on. Unfortunately, given the connection of the alloy with the Overlord's Edict of Storms, the blood will need to come from a ruler. Royal blood. Enough to fill a tub. And what with Kyros' forces reaping the tears of their rulers, it's a component in short supply. I was raised among the nobility. What about my blood? That's certainly a noble offer, she chuckles. But noble blood won't suffice. Unless you've got a country you haven't told me about, we're gonna have to look higher if we want to be safe. Tarkus Ari had noble blood, didn't she? If we can find her, a wise woman would have fled as far from Vendrian's will as her treacherous feet would carry her. His teeth grind together. Though were she wise, she'd never have taken up arms against the Overlord in the first place. If you can find her, if she shares blood with the royal house of Apex, that would work. A lot of ifs, though. What of the statue of Queen Lycaris at Edgering? How many gallons of her blood does she cry in a day? Decided to join us, Barik. He stares blankly at you. I'm well familiar with the statue. The sages wanted to pry into it, but the Vendrian Guard wouldn't let them anywhere near, save for those who fought in their ranks. Is it the bloody tears of a dead queen, a portent of the blood to be spilled in defense of Apex, and probably mineral-rich water? Given that the waters turned red when Kyros' forces invaded, there's likely a metaphysical, if tenuous, tie to the Overlord. It should work perfectly. If you can haul a barrel of this stuff out here, I should be able to release Barik from his cage. Probably. Well, we haven't been back to the Edgering Ruins in quite some time. I've got something going on here. Oh, because it's all the way back here. You catch a hint of movement in the distance, little more than a shiver of shadow among the remnants of a village that clings to the edge of a pillar of stone. You remain far from both Halfgate and Cacophony, so it seems unlikely that settlers or soldiers lurk among the ruins. Perhaps scavengers, raiders, or a rogue pack of beastmen have made the crumbling buildings their home. Investigate further. Adobe homes, cracked by the Overlord's Edict of Stone and bleached by the sun, rest in a loose semicircle around where you imagine a well or square once stood. Instead, the land ends abruptly, demarcating? A plunge of hundreds of feet into the shadow depths below. From the windows of several of the houses spills a faint violet light. Investigate further. You move quietly near one of the buildings, using it as cover to see within the next house, the near wall of which has conveniently collapsed. Within you see a group of humans gathered around shards of azurlith, the pale purple crystals that appeared throughout the stone sea in the wake of Kyros' edict. As you get closer, you can see that they wear the bare minimum of clothing necessary to preserve their modesty, and their skin bears lines of light that shimmer purple against the darkness within their home. Investigate further. The people within the squad building seem wholly unaware of you, their attention entirely on a shrine of collected azurlith shards that dominates the far corner. The lines of light on their skin seem to trace primitive runes which bear a distant semblance to the markings beastmen sometimes carve into their skin. The people chant quietly, invoking Cairn, the fallen Archon of Stone, to restore their lands and deliver them from suffering. Speak to them. You step into the open and hail the group, inspiring a commotion of startled cries and raised pitchforks. You offer your open, empty palms and consider what to say to them. What are you doing out here? One of the villagers, a lanky man with stringy hair, steps forward. You notice that his skin seems dry and dusty, cracked in some places like the parched earth of the stone sea. His eyes shimmer with violet light, but it may only be a reflection from the azurlith. Whether or not Cairn could help you out aside, you know that this superstitious idolatry is wildly illegal, right? The tall man smirks. Were it not for the laws of the foreign invaders. Eventually someone from Cacophony will wander this way. If the Scarlet Chorus finds you here, it won't go well for you. The man of the mountain shall protect us. Already he grants us his favor. Do you mind if I join you? I'm not going to do that. How many rings to purchase those crystals from you? We would never sell the gifts of the man of the mountain. No amount of rings could convince us. Well, it is illegal, so enough of this. Your life is forfeit. Taken by surprise, the Stone Sea denizens barely managed to raise pitchforks and falxes against you before you fall among them. Your superior training and mystic power entirely overwhelming the outmatched villagers. Blood splatters the wall and pools on the floor, running along cracks in the floor to be absorbed by the thirsty stone. It's over in moments. You stand victorious over the corpses of the fallen. Take the amulet. You load your pouches and packs with as much of the purple crystal as you can carry, leaving behind the bloodier bits. You feel certain that your findings will interest your allies. Plus 30 magic defense. Launches an AoE ability when the target is crit. That sounds good. You search the bodies for rings or other valuables, finding some hide and precious metals among the detritus. You leave the slaughter behind and abandon the village to continue your journey. Alright, I'm going to call the episode here. In the next one, we will collect the blood from the statue, get Barik out of his armor, hopefully. And
Right.
after that, we just have to go to the court and deal with that. So, that's what we'll do. In the meantime, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.